This is a ManeHustle Media podcast.
Yo, this is Sharmane from the Single Simulcast. And when I'm not making you laugh or making up parody songs, I'm kicking back, listening to Militantly Mixed.
Hey y'all, welcome to Militantly Mixed, a podcast about race and identity from the mixed race perspective. I am your host, Sharmane, aka Mixed Girl Maine, and I did it again. So last week I hinted that I was going to be dropping Militantly Mixed's first panel discussion episodes, which I'm really excited about this. I have a couple of panel ideas and I haven't recorded all of them yet. This was actually the first one that I had recorded, but I was going to kind of release these sporadically throughout the year where I bring back former guests that maybe have something in common with other guests that I've spoken to, and we all get together to kind of talk about some sort of commonality. And so this very first one was really specific. I welcome back Marie from episode 6 and Palmira Muniz from episode 20. And we talked about being American born, but that our multiple ethnicities come, like somewhere within our ethnic heritage, we come from countries that were either occupied by or colonized by the United States. So a very specific type of occupation or colonization in that it's American, and that we are also raised in the country of the occupier or the colonizer. So in my case, it's Japan, and to maybe a lesser extent, England, because, well, I guess we were allies in a war, whatever the fuck, but whatever. Definite still a presence of American military in these places. For Marie, it was the Philippines, or is the Philippines, and for Palmira, it is Puerto Rico. So the three of us all have some sort of connection to a country that was occupied by or colonized by the United States, but we were born and raised here. So we talked about, what kind of impact that has of being raised in the country of the colonizer to a degree. And it was such a good conversation. But I swear, this is so frustrating. So today I'm actually homesick. At the time I'm recording this is Tuesday, April 24th, which is the same day that the most recent episode of Militantly Mixed dropped. And I'm homesick because I've been dealing with some health issues in which I get very fatigued or am in quite a bit of pain, and it just backed up on me this morning, and probably that has a lot to do with how sort of overworked I've been allowing myself to be, my stresses at my day job. I'm just not taking care of myself, and even though I promised I was going to take a break in April, I didn't take a break, and so today it just kind of smacked me down. I'm not getting up and going to work today. So I decide to get ahead of my Militantly Mixed work. And I was like, you know what? I'll get next week's episode together because this is going to be a really busy week. Why? Because if you listen to my other show, Blurred Comics, I'm a big fat geek. And this is Avengers April. And I am pretty much blocked off for the next week or so. I'm going to see Avengers Endgame on Thursday, on Friday, and on Sunday. On Wednesday, I record with Blurred Comics with my co-host Blurred Vision. And we're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame theories, and then next week we're going to record an episode on our reactions to the movie. So pretty much Avengers is the only thing on my mind, and I knew this weekend was going to be a little bit too busy for me to be editing and preparing for next week. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll get ahead of it. I'm homesick. We'll get this done. And so I go into the file in which I did download and save and play and know that it was working back when we recorded it in February. The file was missing, but I didn't freak out because that's on my hard drive, my ManeHustle Media hard drive. So I'm like, all right, for whatever, it's kind of weird it's not in the folder, but okay, no big deal. I'll go to the computer where it's cached on the recording software that I use. And I go there, and there's only a 23-second clip. What's weird about that is that I downloaded the clip before. I know that it was over an hour, and I know that it was playable because I downloaded it, I saved it, and I played it. So it's weird. It's not on my hard drive, and it's not on the computer's cache. So what do? I go and check my backup, my other hard drive where I back up my Time Machine on my Mac, and my backups have been corrupted, and I only have 8 backups present. I back up all the time, but my last clean backup is from like April 7th. But for whatever reason, when I click it open, I can't seem to access the file. So I have a number of different places in which this file could possibly be, and all 3 of those places there is some problem. Either it's a missing file, it's an unplayable file, or it's an unaccessible file. So I'm going to be dealing with tech support for a little bit while I try to get this resolved. And if I can't get this resolved in time, you are going to be listening. If you're listening to me right now, that's the clue. I didn't get it resolved in time. And rather than dig into my stash for future episodes that I already kind of have mapped out on my calendar, I'm just going to go ahead and take the 0 today. Take it as a sign that I told myself I was going to take a break in April. I didn't take a break in April. And now not only am I not feeling well and my body's shutting down, but also my file, I guess, disappeared and is telling me, nah, you're not doing what you want to do.
No, that's all right. I'll take the 0.
So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that 0. But I don't want to waste the week. I don't want to not have something, just completely not have anything for y'all. So what I would like to do is just address a coincidence that actually kind of times out. So, last week at the time that I edited the episode that dropped on April 24th, I did not know that Marie was also promoting something. So it times out well, because I didn't see that until I woke up this morning and checked Instagram. But I've talked about it before on the show, and I think did we talk about it on her episode? I don't remember if she was doing it back then. But Marie has curated a comedy show at the Ruby Theater here in Los Angeles. And the Ruby Theater is actually where Marie and I met. We were both in the same sketch comedy writing class last year, and we bonded both on being mixed and similar kind of comedy. I really enjoy her. I just love her. I don't know. She just even thinking about her, I'm smiling right now. But yeah, she is someone that I just really enjoy, and I'm really excited to talk about the show that she created at the Ruby Theater. It's called Moral Support, and it is a comedy special in which I don't know if they're local, but comedians, primarily POC LGBTQ plus comedians, come on, and she gives them a chance to do their stand-up while she records it so that they have a tape that they can send along to other comedy clubs to try to get booked. And this is a big problem actually for comedians that are sort of on the hustle on their own without agents or anything like that. It's really hard to get opportunities, but when you do get opportunities beget opportunities. And so a lot of them don't get on main stages very often, and they don't often get to put together a reel of their performance so that they can share it with comedy clubs to get booked. And so Moral Support is designed for that reason. They record the set so that they can promote themselves for comedy clubs around. And it's primarily, or at least to the best of my knowledge, I haven't been to every Moral Support, but I think they're almost primarily all women identified. I think one time there was a male identified person there, but I was not there that day. But they're all LGBTQ plus typically. They're POC typically. So it's really a great inclusive environment to promote people that don't always get promotion. And so just as a friend, or who I hope I can say a friend of Marie, I'm really excited for her that she created this. I'm excited for the comedians that get to be on this show. And it's actually also how I ever saw Palmira Muniz perform. I saw her on the very first Moral Support. And it's great. It's great. I just love it. And the first time I went, everybody that particular set was mixed race, I think, or mixed race identified. And I went one other time, and it was like kind of maybe not necessarily mixed race, but they were all women, and they were all somewhere on the queer spectrum, whatever it was. And so it's just great. I'm proud of Marie. I'm excited for all the comedians there. Her next so what she promoted today on Instagram was that her next show for Moral Support 6 is actually going to be on May 4th, which is Saturday at 9:30. Tickets are about $10. You can go onto the Ruby L.A website, or you can check out Marie on Instagram or Twitter, and you'll find the link for that. So she is Depressed Auntie with a Y on Instagram and Twitter. And you can, find her posts on Moral Support there. Buy tickets if you're in the Los Angeles area, and do show up because, independent comedians or new comedians, need this space. They need a place to practice in front of an audience. They need a chance to be funny and have people enjoy themselves, because it'll help encourage them, and it'll help improve their comedy as well. And getting on tape a nice solid set where they're killing in the audience will help them book in other places. So if you're in the Los Angeles area, please come out and check out that show. I don't think it disappoints. I'm always happy whenever I get to be there. And then in addition to that, since we are talking about Marie and Palmira, if you go to Facebook, you can go to Latin-ish TV and like that page. There's a web series that, there's probably a couple, but in particular what I'm thinking of, there's a web series that Palmira performs on called The Disadventures of an Afro-Latina. And it is so funny. They get together with, they basically talk about a lot of the issues that mixed race people in general have in terms of presentation, but then more specifically to the Latino population of, being white presenting or black presenting or Taino presenting Latin, maybe Spanish presenting Latin, all the different nuances of interaction and maneuvering and identity kind of goes in there, and they put it forward in a very funny way. There's one episode in particular, I don't remember what number episode it is, but Palmira's character asks another Afro-Latina if she ever thinks of herself as like the token black Latin friend, and that friend turns it back around on her, and she's like, no honey, that girl is our token white Latina friend. She helps us get into places. She gets us out of tickets and things like that. So it's just really funny because it deals with the nuance of the different ways in which Latin X folks present and what that means for their maneuvering through the world, and just like as mixed folks in general, we can relate to almost all of those things when it comes to our presentation and what the people on the outside of us do when they view us in a certain way. So it's hilarious. I love these women. I'm so excited to see them doing things. I'm happy to know them in person. Of my 43 episodes of let's say roughly 40 guests that I've had on the show so far. There are two that I know in person that I've gotten to either meet or got to know in person in Meet Space here in Los Angeles. So I'm really excited for them, and I hope that if you're in the area, you do go and check them out and support them. And if you're not in the area, at least go onto their social media or onto Latinish TV, things like that, and support them that way, because they deserve it, and I love them. And yeah, that's good. All right, so since I'm not going to really have a full episode this week, and I'm starting to get a little bit tired again too, I guess I'll go ahead and call that. Yeah, let's go ahead and call it. Don't forget to be your mixed ass self, and follow us on all the social medias. See y'all next week. Bye.
Militantly Mixed is a ManeHustle Media podcast, produced and hosted by me, Sharmane Johnson. Music is by David Bogan, The One. And if you like what you heard on Militantly Mixed, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes and wherever you find your podcasts. ManeHustle Media. Turn your side hustle into your main hustle.